geography. We'll learn together, come and see. Let's travel far, let's travel
Hello everyone, and
wide.
welcome back to Martian's Geographic Podcast. Today, we're going back to asking kids about geography questions, like we haven't done this like 6 times already. But it's still a good idea nonetheless. Yeah. In this video, you'll see the opinions of many kids on many geography questions, as well as seeing how much these kids know about these geography topics. Let's get right into it without any further ado.
Hi there, my name is Emma and I'm 7.5 years old. Today I've got some cool facts to share with you. Let's get started with the first one. Which continent do you think is the hottest on Earth? It's Africa. Africa feels like a giant oven baking yummy cookies with the sun shining big and bright all day long. It's like never-ending summer party with lions, elephants, and colorful birds having a blast. Now let's talk about the smallest ocean in the world. It's the Arctic Ocean. It's like a tiny icy wonderland with polar bears and penguins playing in the chilly waters. Even though it's small, it's packed with excitement and adventures. So if you ever want to explore a cozy little ocean, the Arctic's where you'll find it. Next, let's dive into another cool question. What's the largest desert in the whole wide world? It's the Sahara Desert. Picture a giant sandbox stretching as far as your eyes can see. Even though it's called a desert, it's not just sand. It's a huge playground waiting for you to explore. What's the capital city of Australia? It's Canberra. Imagine a city nested in the heart of Australia, surrounded by kangaroos hopping around with koalas snoozing in the trees. Oh, fabulous!
Overall, I would say good job, Emma. The responses are generally what you would think of if you were thinking of general geography, but there are a few specific things that you were missing. First of all, the hottest continent is Africa on average. However, the hottest place on Earth is Death Valley in North America. Well, that North America is not the hottest continent. Of course it is not, because you have Canada. But I would say, averaging out, Africa is still hotter than North America. Way hotter, actually. The smallest ocean in the world is the Arctic Ocean. Unless you're counting like some specific random small oceans. Like if you have the Bengal Sea as an ocean. I don't think anyone counts that, but the Arctic Ocean seems to be the correct answer here. The largest desert in the world is the Antarctic Desert, and the subsequent second largest desert is the Sahara Desert, if not considering only hot deserts. This is true. And finally, the capital of Australia is Canberra. That is also true. Whilst there was a toss-up between Melbourne and Sydney to become which one should become the capital, but then they couldn't decide, so they just built Canberra. In the middle, equidistant from the two cities. That's the Canberra lower right there.
For the king! For the queen! My name is Sophia, and I'm 9 years old. My first question is, the USA, Canada, and Russia all have a coastline of what body of water? I checked the world map and I found out that the USA, Canada, and Russia all have a coastline on the Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest ocean in the world. It covers more than 63 million square miles, making it the largest ocean on Earth. It is so big that it has more area than all the land on Earth combined. My second question is, which U.S. state is known as Sunshine State? Florida is known as Sunshine State because it has a warm and sunny weather and beautiful landscapes. It also has lots of other fun nicknames like Treasure Coast because lots of shipwrecks occurred there and some even carry gold and silver. And Florida also has lots of fun places like Walt Disney World Resort, which is one of the most visited vacation resorts in the world. My third question is, what is the area in red showing? It's showing the Bermuda. The Bermuda Triangle is bounded by 3 points: Miami in Florida, Bermuda, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. It covers about 500,000 square miles of the ocean. It's mysterious because many people believe that ships and airplanes have disappeared under unexplained circumstances. Some people think that it's because of natural reasons, like harsh weather or strong ocean currents. But other people believe it's because aliens or sea monsters might be involved. It's terrible! It's a disaster!
Hello, Sophia. I think this is a good response. Some feedback for your first question. The Pacific Ocean is not the only ocean that all three countries border. The Arctic Ocean also counts because the U.S. has Alaska. So technically Pacific is also correct, but Arctic is also another answer. It's a bit ambiguous on this question. It would be if it was list two oceans, then yeah, you have to list both Pacific and Arctic. As for the second question on Florida, Florida is generally correct. It's not always sunny though. It's pretty rainy there. Can be in summer especially. And finally, your question on the Bermuda Triangle. I think the answer is good. It's San Juan, Puerto Rico, Miami, and Bermuda. Overall, many mysterious disappearances, including a time-traveling plane that went forward 37 years, allegedly. So overall, good response. Just adding the Arctic Ocean. And finally, it is also worth noting that the Bermuda Triangle is home to many hurricanes. Hurricanes tend to form in this area because there's a storm track that comes off the equator and the intertropical convergence zone. Because there's a lot of hurricanes, there's a lot of storms in this area, relatively compared to, say, the North Atlantic, the South Atlantic, or even the Pacific. So this area is extremely volatile, and it's not a coincidence that a lot of planes and ships tend to get struck down by hurricanes.
Hi, my name is Jonathan and I am 9 years old. Today's first question is, what geographic feature would you find at 0 degrees latitude? 0 degrees latitude is the middle of the Earth, halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole, which makes an imaginary line across it called an equator. Countries in or on the equator like Ecuador, Kenya, and Somalia have high temperatures all year round due to the tilt of the Earth's axis. The temperature in these countries are an average of 31 degrees Celsius. Today's second question is, what name is given to the native people of New Zealand? The native people of New Zealand are called Maori. Maori are the first people to come to the land, or also called Indigenous people of New Zealand. Maori are known as the greatest storytellers because they didn't have a written language until the 18,000s. Holy moly, guacamole. Today's third question is, which explorer found the New World while sailing for Spain? The person who found the New World was Christopher Columbus, who was born in Italy 1451. He was an explorer and navigator. Even though it seems like Columbus was the first to find America, there was actually other people who found it. Centuries ago, the person who found it was called Leif Erikson. He was a Viking and was from Iceland. Christopher Columbus died on May 20, 1508. He was 55 years old. The New World is North America and South America, while the Old World is Asia, Africa, and Europe.
So Jonathan, for your answers for 2 and 3, I think they're mostly correct. I don't see a big arrow then, but for answer number 1, you didn't really answer what specific geographic feature could be found at 0 degrees latitude outside of the equator, which is not a geographical feature. It's an imaginary feature. It's not real. So I would say it was tropical rainforest. That would be found at 0 degrees latitude because that's the biome around the latitude which it is found in. I would say the correct answer would be tropical rainforest.
Oh, spaghetti!
Astronaut Neil Armstrong is most remembered for being the first person to set foot on the moon in the Apollo 11 mission. Westminster Abbey and Big Ben are currently tourist attractions in London, England. The company Tesla was named after Siberian scientist Nikola Tesla.
Oh, fabulous!
Hi everyone, my name is Preston Ju and I'm 8 years old. Today I am sharing 3 interesting questions with you. First, which Asian city became the first ever to host both the Summer Olympics in 2008 and the Winter Olympics in 2022? It's like having 2 big sports parties in the same place. This special city where you can see amazing athletes competing in sunny, warm weather, and then a few years later, see them again, but this time surrounded by snow and ice. That magical city is Beijing, China. Second, careful, you would want to keep an eye out for alligators if you were biking through which national park? If you are in the Everglades National Park, please watch out because in this park you can spot some sneaky alligators moving around. You may see an alligator sunbathing on the side of the trail while you are pedaling through your beautiful wild landscapes with tall grasses in the park. But don't worry, as long as you keep a safe distance and don't disturb them, you can enjoy your bike ride and maybe even snap cool photos. Third, which mountain range forms much of the North American Continental Divide, meaning that rivers to the west flow into the Pacific and rivers to the east flow into the Gulf of Mexico or the Atlantic Ocean? The mountain range that forms much of the North American Continental Divide is the Rocky Mountains. These are no ordinary mountains. They're like the Great Divide of North America. The Rockies are like the backbone of North America, splitting the continent's water into two directions.
Emma Liu. Above which country were the following images taken at the end of World War II? Well, the answer to that is Japan, specifically Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan. At the end of World War II, Japan was not willing to surrender, which eventually led to the U.S. dropping 2 atomic bombs, obliterating everything in the 2 core cities in Japan at that time. These 2 bombs were called the Fat Man and the Little Boy. I'm your Joe! In the images, you can see a mushroom cloud. That's because the images are taken above the cloud level, and above that is the gigantic mushroom cloud that the atomic bombs made from its explosion. Everything underneath it was gone, obliterated. No plants, no buildings, no houses, no people. 129,000 to 226,000, which were mostly civilians, died due to the bombs.
It's terrible. It's a disaster.
And finally, after this tragedy, Japan surrendered and World War II ended. So in those 2 pictures, you saw the mushroom cloud that was caused by the atomic explosion of the Fat Man and the Little Boy. Those pictures were taken above Japan in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Which Nobel Peace Prize winning activist helped end South Africa's apartheid system as its first black president? That would be Nelson Mandela. He was born on July 18th, 1918, and died December 5th, 2003. Since when he was just a young boy, he has always protested and wanted equal rights between black and white people.
Hello everyone, my name is Hugh Berry. All countries have languages. For example, Brazil speaks Portuguese. But do you know why? Long ago, the Portuguese were going to India. Then a current pushed the sailors to Brazil. There, they met First Nation. The Portuguese were speaking Portuguese, but now they are saying Spanish. That is because the Portuguese shared their own language with Brazil.
Mamma mia!
Climates are weather and features like cloudy, rainy, and many other things. Every year it is getting hotter in spring or summer. The weather is controlled by the sun and the Earth's rotation. Greenhouse effect is destroying the weather. It is also a kind of air that is so strong like glass. This is very similar to global warming. For example, in Antarctica, when the global warming temperature is too high, it will make ice melt and then break animal homes. To not make global warming, we don't turn on lights when we don't need them, and we don't pollute the air.
So personally, one more thing for you, Huber, is that I think that your opinion on we should turn off the light is a bit invalid. Well, it is somewhat helping the environment if we just turn off the lights. But I don't think turning off the lights is the largest help to the environment that we can give. For example, you can do many other things, such as recycle plastic. That's the most obvious thing. So yeah, I don't think turning off the light is the best option, personally.
I'm Julia and I'm 6.5. What is Canada's capital city? The capital city of Canada is Ottawa. It's where lots of important people work and make big decisions for the country. It's also a pretty city with lots of parks and fun places to visit.
Overall, I think you guys did a really great job answering these questions. Seems you have done a lot of good research, I can tell. I'm not sure if you were able to answer them yourselves, but good research capabilities always come in handy. So overall, I think Huber, you mentioned climate change is a big problem. I agree, and with all the points you stated, it's you could have accentuated the points a bit more. And Emma, I think your explanation on Nelson Mandela is so. To conclude this episode, I don't have much else to say. Just please subscribe to our channel. I guess that's the one thing I could say, and that's it. I hope you find our videos entertaining, and see you next time. Goodbye.